to the 9/11 War Room, a weekly roundtable discussion that takes place every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Tune in at 911warroom.com.
Welcome to the 9/11 War Room. My name is Gene.
My name is Sandra. Today is Sunday, February the 1st, and it's episode 220.
A little bit of news, a lot of stuff. First news story I have. Trump's NSA pick endorses post 9/11 surveillance powers, stays vague on warrants. It says U.S. Army Lieutenant General Joshua Rudd, President Donald Trump's pick to head the National Security Agency, said on Thursday he is in favor of keeping broad foreign surveillance powers introduced following the September 11, 2001 attacks. But when it came to whether he would seek a warrant before turning those powers against Americans, Rudd said that
Rudd had less.
Man, I'm rough. Had less to say at his confirmation hearing before the U.S. Senate Committee. Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Service Act, also known as the FISA Act, allows NSA to surveil foreigners abroad using data drawn from U.S. digital infrastructure. The provision for years has caused anxieties over domestic surveillance because it can allow the NSA's law enforcement counterparts to mine the massive data trove without a warrant. A 2024 proposal to require them to get judicial sign-off before searching the data failed in the House of Representatives by a single vote. And I actually pulled it up. It came out to 212 against 212, and it wasn't strict party lines. It said here like Republicans 128 said, yeah, we want you to have to get a warrant. 86 Democrats said no, but then 84 Democrats said yes, and 126 Republicans said no. So it worked out 212 to 212, and with an undecided, equal vote, it didn't pass. So
Wow.
That's terrible. Just wrapping up on this. With the power up for congressional renewal in April, the contours of Section 702's powers are again being put up for debate. Rudd endorsed Section 702, enacted as part of changes in U.S. intelligence policies following the 2001 al-Qaeda attacks on the United States during testimony in the Senate Intelligence Committee. It's indispensable, Rudd told lawmakers. It's critical to mission outcomes. I'm sure it is. Depends what your mission is. Asked by Democrat Senator Ron Wyden whether he would insist on a judicial warrant before targeting people in the United States for surveillance, Rudd said, if confirmed, I will absolutely commit to executing the Foreign Intelligence Commission mission of the NSA in accordance with the authorities that it has been given in accordance with all applicable laws. Wyden expressed dissatisfaction, telling Rudd, that's about as vague as anything I've ever heard on the subject. So... again, the government wants to hold its powers to be able to search data on the United States without a warrant. We'll see in April what happens when they go up for a vote again on it. But yes, Trump picked this Army Lieutenant General Joshua Rudd, unfortunately. Next news story. Senator Elissa Slotkin made a statement on X coming out saying that she wants to declassify for 9/11. I'm just going to play it. It's 18 seconds long. Let's listen in.
People have lost faith in the government. People are questioning what the government is doing, the intentions of the federal government. And transparency and accountability are part of the way we try to bridge that gap. For those reasons, I'm in full support of declassifying. People have lost faith in.
So that's good. Another senator that's kind of waking up to it, hopefully.
What state is she in?
I'm not sure what state she's in. Anybody know Slotkin? Let's see.
What's her name again?
Senator Elissa Slotkin.
Thank you.
Is... intelligence serving junior United States Senator from Michigan. All right. So if you're in Michigan, send her a vote of confidence and that support for that. That was Elissa Slotkin. Next one, Cenk Uygur, I think that's how you pronounce it, was on Tucker Carlson. I found a clip where he brings up 9/11. He actually talks about JFK and a little bit too. I'm just going to play it in its entirety. It's about 3 minutes long. So this is what he had to say with Tucker.
How about this?
Oh, and I should say, it's really nice to see you have Cenk is with the Young Turks. He's on the left. He's a lefty left. And Tucker being a conservative on the right. They finally see the power in coming together. This division, this partisan division is what the Uniparty wants to keep us.
Fabricated.
Yes. So it's great to see them coming together. They understand the power in it. This is their conversation on the subject.
How about the spies we caught after 9/11? Okay, put aside whether they knew, didn't know what their activity was, but we rounded up dozens and dozens of Israeli spies. Okay, great job, FBI, CIA, whoever did it. Fantastic. Really proud of you. And then we let them go back to Israel. Is that a thing we do? If we catch a Russian spy or an Iranian spy or a Dutch spy, do we go, oh, you're free to go? Aren't we supposed to arrest them and keep them in prison? But when it comes to Israel, there are no laws, there are no rules. They're allowed to do anything you want. And if you object, Jake Tapper comes out and calls you an anti-Semite.
So a year ago this week, the new president, right after inauguration, issued an executive order declaring that all files related to the Kennedy assassination, MLK, and Bobby Kennedy's assassination had to be released. And they haven't all been, unfortunately. But in tranches of documents that have been released in the last 12 months, we've seen again and again references to Israel have been, and there are a lot of references to Israel in the files around the Kennedy assassination, interestingly, have all been redacted. All been redacted for 62 years, 63 years. It's like, what? I don't understand. Like, why would that be? Why are there two monuments to Jim Angleton in Israel? The number two at CIA. I think it's all very, very odd. And you hear people complain about conspiracy theories, and I'm definitely against conspiratorial thinking because it drives you crazy. On the other hand, in the absence of transparency, that stuff grows like algae. I mean, what do you think? If you don't tell people the truth, like, what are they supposed to think? They're going to come up with all kinds of theories. Why would you redact references to Israel in the Kennedy files for 6 decades? Like, what is that?
That's almost an admission. So, like, I didn't know.
It's very odd. I'll say that.
So I didn't know that until recently. And again, establishment media never talks about these things. And again, it's not just about Israel. So, for example, on 9/11, we're redacting references to the Saudis.
Oh, I know.
Why? So they say, well, they're our allies. Well, if they're our allies, then maybe they shouldn't have had a hand in 9/11, right? They didn't have a hand in 9/11. Okay, great. Then show me the redacted part. No, I won't show you the redacted part. Okay, now this is weird. Now this is our government working for other governments. And what happened after 9/11? We rounded up all the bin Ladens. Yes, there were bin Ladens in America. And we rounded up all the Israeli spies. And yes, there was tons and tons of Israeli spies in America.
Following the 19 hijackers around the country.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what do? We rounded them up. Oh, great. We got them. And we released them back to Saudi Arabia and Israel.
Yeah.
No, that's our
government. And then
government.
we invade Iraq.
Yeah.
Which had nothing to do with it. And increased domestic police powers to the point where the country's not recognizable from what it was on September 10th, 2001. So
that's our government working for other governments.
Oh, I'm aware.
I can't stand it.
Very good. That was a great comment by those two. If you want to see it in its entirety, it is up on all of Tucker's platforms. Pretty good conversation. That was just the 9/11 part that they had mentioned.
If you don't mind me quickly just jumping in and interrupting, I just wanted to welcome James Healy to the call. It's the first time he's joining, ex-firefighter, I believe, from New York.
Nice.
Who connected with Richard. Richard brought him to our attention. And James, if you can hear us, Raul Angulo, Fire Chief
Captain,
Raul Angulo, and ex-Chief Christopher Joya are both on the call as well. So if we're going to cover the news right now, but later we'll get back to you later, and maybe you can connect with those guys.
Quick correction. James is a search and rescue professional who spent months on the pile starting the day of 9/11.
My bad. Sorry.
All right. Thank you for that clarification. We'll come back to that when we open up the table.
Yeah.
Let me hop back into this again. Next news item that I had. This either happened like a day before or after that Cenk Uygur Tucker Carlson interview, and Tucker doubled down on his comments, which he got a whole lot of heat for this. And here we go.
The funniest is all the people who are telling you have to hate Muslims. Oh, hate the Muslims. Ben Shapiro or Mark Levin hate Muslims. Why aren't those same people calling for full disclosure of the 9/11 documents? kind of weird, isn't it? If you really wanted to prove that Muslims are bad, you would want all the 9/11 documents disclosed, wouldn't you? Just so you could sort of play out the horrifying details that led to those fabled 19 Arabs with box cutters committing the biggest act of terror in American history. Why would you ever want to keep any of that secret? Has Mark Levin ever called for the full disclosure of the 9/11 docs? Well, why wouldn't you? That would kind of make your case the Muslims are bad, wouldn't it? Just put a nail in the coffin of all the jihadis in America. And Ben Shapiro on that? Oh, shut up, conspiracy theorist. Just keep in mind when people tell you, trust the government, maybe there's another agenda there.
That was a good one. He got heat from a lot of Zionist community. And Laura Loomer, she just went ballistic on it.
But he makes an excellent point. You would think that they would have every reason to demand the release of the files to make their case. And somehow they're just not.
Yep. Silent. Next one. This was an interview between Candace Owens and a comedian, Bassem Youssef, exposing 9/11 as the ultimate false flag psyop. He said that he was disappointed because she got anti-Semite of the year, and he really wanted that. But here are the 3 clips where they reference 9/11. It's only a minute long. Here we go.
9/11, which is the biggest false flag operation. How can you believe a country that has a very lucrative history of false flags operation, right?
We grew up with 9/11. That was the ultimate psychological operation. They made us stand up every day in school at 9/11, so we would never forget.
When they found the passport, just like lying around.
But we were kids, right? Think about how young I was. So they know how to make an impression when you're a child and you're scared. When you don't know anything and you're scared, it's the perfect time to make an impression. We'll take care of you. We're going to make sure those evil Muslims don't come in the country. All you have to do is take off your shoes and your belts at the airport, and no more evil Muslims will get you. And you're like, okay, what do I have to do to comply with that? That's a psychological operation. If you want to sue someone, it should be Bassem.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
She's been getting sued a lot left and right, and they made a joke about, well, maybe you'll go after him, and they laugh about it. The first statement he said there was that 9/11 was the largest false flag committed in the United States. So he's continuing to speak out on that. That's great. Bassem Youssef, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Youssef, yeah.
Youssef, check that out. Next news story. This is from Fort Lee, New Jersey. Real New Jersey firefighters, first responders sought for Paramount Plus 9/11 series. So James Healy, you might want to, and Chris, you might want to run up for this one. It says firefighters and first responders from across the tri-state area are being invited to take part in an upcoming Paramount Plus limited series centered on the legal battle faced by ailing 9/11 first responders. Says here, the open casting call is being held by JV8 Inc., a New York City-based casting company known for pairing real people with major Hollywood talent. The company has previously cast projects including Uncut Gems, Euphoria, and A24's Marty Supreme, according to the release. The series, titled 9/12, is being produced by Paramount Television Studios and stars Jeremy Strong. The project focuses on first responders David versus Goliath's fight for compensation following the 9/11 attacks, according to casting information. So if you guys want to be stars in that, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, Chris just retired, so maybe he's looking for a new career.
Yeah, in Hollywood. Yeah. Right.
I can picture it. Oh, Raul would be great.
Yeah, Raul would be great, but he wasn't there. So, All right. Let's see. Next one. This is interesting. Came out on X. Richard put out an article. X caught in the act. Internal data breach reveals massive censorship of 9/11 truth. Severe shadow banning of Richard Gage 9/11 admitted impressions and engagements are down 70% in the last 2 months. Take action. It's something that I had found through a guy I was following, S2 Underground. He found a hack where it looks like people working at X were keeping notes on people, and it feeds into the algorithm, which will deboost you and cap you and all kinds of nasty things. So there was a code that you can run, and it would show you how bad you were being hurt in this project or in this process. And for Richard, the algorithm impact, the worst of the worst, was his push level was restricted because he has a strong niche amplification in 9/11 truth, alternative media, and activism communities.
God forbid.
heavily throttled or excluded from mainstream general feeds. Search visibility was and suppressed for broad, high sensitivity 9/11 keywords. He was being downranked for general searches, which retained in topic specific or follower driven discovery. So if somebody's looking for him, they're not going to find him as much. Hidden reputation score estimated. He was reduced 55 to 75%. And I've seen some of the people out there on X that were reduced by like 95%. Due to longstanding alternative narrative, misinformation, and conspiracy flags. The reply deboost is active, so he's going to have a rougher time for people to be able to reply to him. Reply deboost severity, moderate. Current reach suppression severity, moderate to high. And ad eligibility, limited or ineligible on flagged conspiracy misinformation topics. So this is just troubling. It's supposed to be a free speech. Here you can see the code that was run and spits it out. I ran it for myself, and I was also being penalized, capped, downranked, limited, and deboosted. So I don't think you can do it anymore. I think they put a kibosh to that. But you can see as Richard looked at his stats through the months, he severely is going back down. Just because of these caps on his on the algorithm for his X platform. So this is just troubling. It again, it's supposed to be a free speech platform, but it's not really.
Yeah. Little heads up to Ellie so that he knows what keywords to omit when he posts on his behalf.
And I'm sure it's happening across all social media. So just be aware of that.
Yeah, I don't know if we spoke about it last week, but there's a new platform out there called Upscroll.
Yes.
That Gene knows a whole lot more about it. He actually signed up already. It's a platform that, I mean, I know we've heard it before, but basically does not censor anything.
Yep. All your friends that are on your feed get to see your information. It's called upscrolled.com. They don't have a website. It's just on your mobile devices.
Yeah.
And it seems since Larry Ellison bought TikTok, there are a lot of people moving to this platform. So if you want, get on it. It's interesting. I'm trying to build, like, I think I got 13 followers.
Got to start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere. Thank you for adding that.
Yeah.
Next news story. The 9/11 and other deep state crimes teleconference was just held this past January 28th. Craig introduced again the new group that he's forming. And I'll do a little reading here. He announced the creation of a new 9/11 group exposing 9/11. We will not allow the Pentagon evidence to be suppressed, and we will push back on disinformation and 9/11 truth movement. Joining me as core members in this new group are Barry Swigger, Andy Steele, Adam Ruff, Dan Hennon, Paul Zaremka, Cheryl Curtis, Sheila Casey, and John Schuler. And I do just have to, I hate to say this, but there was a comment last week by somebody that it's a waste of time. Whatever our views are on it, we should
encourage each other.
Yeah. You might not on your platform and my platform, we have things that we don't really care to discuss, but let's not poo-poo each other in the war room. Thank you.
Yeah. And I mean, at the end of the day, we're all in this fight together. We're all looking for the same results and for the same justice and accountability. Just like in politics, it has no color. It doesn't have a left and right. It's we all want the same thing. So when someone comes out and tries something new, let's get behind them.
And a little bit more to say on that, but it's 5:20. For those that don't know, that's the time when Building 7 fell, and I use it as an opportunity to say a quick prayer for 9/11 justice. So if you'll just join me for a second in that. Lord, coming to you right now, I thank you for all these hearts and minds that are continuing to persevere in this movement against all odds. We continue in faith that something will be done. We ask that you would use us, you would encourage us, and help us in this this journey. Lord, we've been in it a long time, and I don't think anybody's given up. And I just pray for protection and guidance as we continue to fight for this so that we could get justice in our lifetime. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, everybody. Something else I wanted to say on that.
Well, Craig had already announced it last week in the War Room, which, We thank him for doing it with us on our platform. And then his call is once a month, the last Wednesday of every month. And
I remember what it is.
And then he shared it again. And
online and text, Craig and I can be very contentious with each other. We butt heads really well online. But when we call each other and actually talk, and this is another thing that we had mentioned on one of the calls the other day at the Turning the Tide event. Online, Craig and Wayne and David Chandler don't get along so much, or don't get along. But in person, it was civil. They were very friendly. They were talking to each other. They still don't agree, but it's the civility. And I love that Craig and I can talk to each other and flush out, where we disagree with each other. We still don't agree with each other on things, but I just really appreciate, Craig, that that we can call each other and talk things through. So next news story. Patty Casazza was on Truth Action Project. She's one of the Jersey girls. Went on 3 hours. I think it was TAP's longest call. And I just want to play where she shared her personal testimony. It's about 3 or 4 minutes. It's a little long, but it's so powerful.
Yeah.
Because one thing that we don't agree on the evidence, but one thing we do agree that we're all fighting for these people. They lost loved ones, and it's heart-wrenching to hear her tell that story. So I just want to,
and I just wanted to add also, for all of us who've been doing this for years, and we're in our initiatives, we're planning, we're organizing, we're putting stuff out there, we're looking at, we've seen every video that's out there. I don't want to say we become desensitized, but we're kind of like so much in the trenches that seeing a clip like this, again, for me, it's always the jumpers. Whenever I see the jumpers, it does it to me. But you watch a clip like Patty talking about it, and if that doesn't remind you of why we're doing it and how they have not forgotten and they still live with it every single day, I think it's just extremely powerful.
Here we go.
Well, at the time of 9/11, I was in nursing school. My husband worked Wall Street. On the morning of 9/11, it was my day off from nursing school. I was actually folding laundry, a normal activity. I had already taken my son to school. And then my husband called me from his building. It was via landline, not a cell phone. And to say, do you know what's going on? And I'm like, no, what are we talking about? What's going on? He goes, turn on the television. So I turned it on, and I knew it was his building because it had the spire on it. That was hit first. And, he immediately started breaking down right then and there, I guess, and connecting with me. He said we'd already sought out the rooftop doors and they were locked. All of the stairwells were blocked, and the elevators were basically taken out. He said, I don't think we're going to make it. And that the floor was filling up with thick black smoke. And he just started sobbing, uncontrollably sobbing. So with that, I tried to comfort him as best I could. He was a man of a lot of faith. He was the kind of guy that got up on Sunday mornings, went at 7 o'clock to church. He believed in doing the right things, taking care of his family, and that meant extended family, friends needed help. He was there. We had just taken in for 2 years, we had my sister-in-law's kids with us. She wasn't doing well, so we had custody of them. I mean, we were doing all the right things. And to my way of thinking, my government's main purpose towards its citizenry is, protecting us from enemies, domestic and afar, right? Isn't that what their whole job is for the most part? all that you could expect. The best that you could expect is that much, right? And, I knew from, speaking to my husband, he had been in the World Financial Center before he took this job in the World Trade Center. And even then I was like, are you sure this is something that you want to do? It got hit once and he said, oh no, it's been reinforced. They have so much better lighting. People will be able to exit in the event and there's so much more security. We've been reassured time and time again, and they actually did practice runs in trying to get out of the buildings and whatnot. And so I said, well, you have to do what you have to do. And he took the job in the World Trade Center. And, the morning of, as we were speaking and I was trying to comfort him and tell him he was such a good man, if anybody was ready for this, for the eventuality, he was. And I just tried to reinforce that, how much I loved him, how much our son loved him. He was my son's best friend. He coached everything for my son. I used to call him Pete and Repeat because they looked alike, they moved alike, everything. I mean, it was such a tragedy for my son, and he has not fared well. Even after all these years, it's been really tough on the kids. And so our quest, I would not have thought it would be so difficult.
So, I gotta say, just a heartfelt sadness for her that she's been going for this for so long.
Mhm.
Sandra and I went up I think it was 2 years ago, found this panel at the World Trade Center 1 Memorial where you can see John Francis Casaza's name along with Ken Van Auken, and Alan Kleinberg, 3 of the 4 Jersey widows. Here is a picture of John Casaza. Just rest in peace, John. And so sorry that Patty's still going through this, but everybody in this room, I think we're still doing this because of just a yearning to help these folks. So, Mike, do you have any other final comments?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a correction. With Patty, we did have quite an extended time, but it was not our longest. We went 5.5 hours when Carl Schwartz was on with Captain Hanley, Colonel Watkins from the Pentagon, and Kurt Weldon. That was a 5.5 hour.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Gene made a mistake because I think Craig said that his conference on the Wednesday night was the longest that he had ever had. I think
okay.
probably just mixed them up.
And since I got you, Mike,
Yeah.
so the next one coming up will be with Adam Eisenberg on the Pentagon. That'll be coming up this Tuesday at 8 p.m. at TAP, truthactionproject.org. Any more to say on that
Yeah,
one?
that's exactly why I was late tonight, and I apologize. I regret that I was late. It sounds like I probably should have been here, but Adam is going to give us groundbreaking information. I was in an hour-long meeting with him right before War Room, and it was phenomenal. And it's going to be some groundbreaking territory that really needs to happen. It's going to put to silence the rumors that a jetliner landed in the Pentagon. So everyone join us 8 p.m. Tuesday night, Tap Talk.
You want to quickly tell everyone who he...
I'm sorry?
You quickly just want to, for those who don't know, explain who he is, who he was.
He was in the Army.
Yeah. He was in the Army. He arrived at the Pentagon cleanup crew inside the building, outside, about 4.5 hours after impact, and he spent I think it was a total of 240 hours there is what it is, something like that. But he is a firsthand eyewitness of what was there, what was found, what remained, and it's indisputable evidence, and he's going to share all, and it's going to be very interesting. So
thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
That's 4.5 hours after alleged impact, right, Mike?
Yes, alleged impact. Thank you.
Because even Adam doesn't think there was an impact.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Again, a reminder about the 2026 event we're planning in New York City this coming September. If you'd like to be involved or get involved or hear more about it, if you go to turningthetide911.org, down at the bottom of the page, you can put in your information and get updates about that. Next item. There's been a lot of concern on the 9/11 Truth Movement Facebook groups that Sandra and I both admin after Ken Doc had basically said, "Hey, you guys, I've been doing this long enough. You guys take the reins." There has been just a lot of people saying my posts aren't getting put up. It's been pending forever. Well, I find out that of the 9/11 Truth Movement Facebook group, which is 43,000 members, and the 9/11 Truth Movement public group, 18,000 members. Facebook put about 300 of the posts right into a spam folder. And it goes right there. I don't see it. So now I'm trying to be more vigilant on staying on it. But I spent over an hour yesterday just going through, and you got to bear with me because some people are sharing hour, 2 hour, 3 hour videos. Like it's really hard. Like I got to try to digest what's being said here. And get it out and be fair to everybody. And so that's what's the bottleneck there. For those that don't understand why we have a public and a private group, the 9/11 Truth Movement group is the original OG group. Ken Doc back in the day was he made it private and then he realized he made a mistake and he went back to public, and Facebook's policies are once you make a group private, you cannot make it public again.
Yeah, to protect the identities of those who joined under the,
So kind of stuck. So now there's this huge group that's private.
And we get comments all the time. Why is this post not shareable? Why can't I access this? And it's like, well, and so we get accused of like we're doing it on purpose and stuff like that.
And because of the algorithm, some people go right to spam, Craig. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, this is.
I found that out. Yeah.
I discovered this with Craig when he sent me an email saying I try to post this 3 times and I'm looking and it's like we don't see it. I don't know what to tell you. That's when we even discovered that there was a spam folder because we get no notifications about the spam.
Yep.
So I've been trying to.
I didn't know they had that.
Yeah.
And a lot posted on September 11th, 2025, and I found like at least 50 posts from that day. And it flagged most of them as spam, which is terrible because people were just sharing their hearts on that day. So
even on a regular day, it's hard to go through all of you. I'd say you get maybe a dozen per day or so.
Yep.
And when it's just a statement or a picture or something like that, you can easily approve or not. But like Gene said, when it's a 2-hour video, I mean, sometimes you know what it is and you'll approve it. Some are very, very sneaky. They start off with a video that looks totally legit.
And then they're selling sofa cushions.
And then it veers off into some, or even just like completely fringe stuff, or total QAnon and whatnot. So you can't, you have to skim through it at least to make sure that it's good till the end.
There's
but
very
it's very
few rules.
Consuming.
Very few rules. Just be respectful. Keep it about 9/11. And there's one other rule. I can't remember what it is. But anyway, that's that. Next one I have, I don't know how we missed this. This was a year ago. This is before the Trump election presidency. Dr. David Martin, he spoke out a lot about COVID and the whole pandemic thing. Here is a 36-second clip where he talks about Building 7. He also did a wonderful thing about 12 senses. We're all used to 5 senses: taste, touch, smell, hearing, and whatever. I can't think right now. But he says there's actually 12 that we haven't been taught about. It gets a little bit out there, but I'm considering it. That's a lot to take in. Very, very smart guy. He also wrote the book Coup de 12, which, as Eric Lawyer tells me, the book is actually reading in between the lines. It's very cryptic. He's telling the story of 12 people who originally had conceived the idea of 9/11, but he can't explicitly say that in the book. So I'm trying to read that book in the light of, okay, he's really talking about that type of event in a fictional tale. But Coup de 12 was his book. Here's his statement about Building 7, 36 seconds. Here we go.
What was 9/11? What was Building 7 at 9/11? The building that fell without a plane hitting it. You saw it. Everybody saw it. But you're told not to look at it. Don't look. A whole building fell down. Don't look at it. And you know what America did? It went, okay, we won't look at it.
That was in a longer episode. I'll put the link in the show notes. It was Dr. David Martin's election wake-up call for America. The whole interview was really good, but that was the 9/11 segment.
Yeah, and my
Sorry, go ahead.
oh, sorry, and my issue with that particular segment is that he made it sound like everybody saw Building 7 collapsing and was told not to look at it. I mean, that's the mistake right there, because we're making progress. More people know about Building 7, but to say that everybody knew about Building 7 when it happened, it's like, no, that was just like a couple of people. You know, what was it, like 5%, 10%, something like that. So that's not really the dynamic. I think that would fit on the Epstein files right now. They were released, and the government's basically telling us, don't look. We're not addressing this. We're not, we're shoving this one under the rug, it seems anyway. So there it would fit. For 7, not so much. So I think that's a bad example.
More shocking is we all saw buildings 1 and 2 fall, and nobody went, I can't say nobody. Most everybody was like, I don't see what, I don't get it. But,
yeah, like had he said 1 and 2, I think that would have been a better example.
Yeah. We all bought the lie.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
Except for my architect buddy, it turned to his engineering friend and looked at each other. He said, as the building come down, and went, that's impossible. Some people got it right off the bat, but a lot of us didn't. So anyway, next story. We're trying to get through them here. What do I have next? This was a post by Anna Paulina Luna. It's concerning Epstein, and I'm going to tie it into 9/11 in a second. But what she says, I think, is very important for us to hear. She says, quote, "What was released by the DOJ regarding Epstein is deeply disturbing. This is why good people must actively engage in and be involved in politics and government. As you are seeing, politics is a dirty game and tends to attract the worst types of people. If you throw up your hands and give up, you are the problem. Review all the documents, get your head in the game, stand up and do the right thing. Otherwise, this rot continues. Only light can drive out darkness." So again, she is on the task force for the classification of federal secrets. Some people are like, well, she's a Zionist, who knows? But she's trying some things. And this statement is fantastic. So to go on with what she said there, and how does this tie back into 9/11? Howard Lutnick. I've been harping on Howard Lutnick because now he is the Secretary of Commerce, which oversees NIST. He lost 658 employees, including his brother Gary. He should be alarmed. He should be furious at this. And he now stands overseeing NIST and can say, hey, release the Building 7 models and data, and he doesn't do it. Well, in 2005, he was in a video where he said, oops, I thought I had it queued up. I guess I do not. He was in a video where he said that he was next.
Jeffrey Epstein was your neighbor, East 71st Street. He was your neighbor for 10 years.
All right. So we are in number 11 and he lives in number 9. So knock on the door. His assistant on like a Saturday says, so he, Mr. Epstein,
door, he goes, sees a massage table, and he basically says, my wife and I decided right then and there, we're not going to have anything to do with him anymore.
Or
because what she said.
That guy was there. I wasn't going because he's...
You're freezing. You froze for a few seconds.
Disgusting person.
So he goes into his apartment, sees that there's a massage table there. He finds this guy completely, this is 2005, finds him completely repulsive and says in 2005, and here's his exact words, hopefully it won't freeze.
And we left. And in the 6 or 8 steps it takes to get from his house.
It froze.
My wife and I decided that I will never be in the room with that disgusting person ever again. So I was never.
I don't know if you heard him there. He said, I will never be in that room again with that disgusting person. Well,
yeah, it froze again for me. I didn't hear you.
Okay, sorry. Hopefully some of you heard it. But the bigger important point there is he then gets the Epstein files are released, and here it is. This is now in 2012 on the left-hand side. Hi, Jeff. We are landing in St. Thomas early Saturday afternoon, planning to head over to St. Bart's on Monday at some point. Where are you located? What's your exact location for my captain? Does Sunday evening for dinner sound good? I have another couple, Michael and Marcy Learman, with me in my boat. To each of us have 4 children, 2 16s, 2 14s, a 13, a 12, 11, and a 7. Why are you telling Jeffrey Epstein the ages of your kids and bringing them to the island? Like, this is just alarming. And after he says in 2005 that he doesn't want anything to do with this disgusting pig. So it just makes you wonder whether Howard Lutnick is compromised, or, I don't know what to say. So I made this meme. You heard the phrase, life imitates art. Well, I made art imitating life. For those that don't know, Howard Lutnick, what we just saw there with his ties with the Epstein, Ehud Barak stayed in Epstein's apartment mansion in New York 30 times. Had somebody came in one time and saw a chalkboard behind him with some information about one of the Israeli plans on the board. Like, why would they be talking about this? And then we all know about this other painting that was not in the mansion up in New York. They believe, I haven't heard it confirmed, but by all accounts, it's alleged that this painting of George Bush with paper airplanes and Jengas was down in his Florida property. But all these things are kind of like really make you go, what's going on here? So who knows what's going to happen about this, but we're going to keep our eye on it. I made this funny meme, just some funny memes before we open up the table. Jeffrey Epstein. So you think someone would have talked when it comes to 9/11? Because all of what he was blackmailing would have happened in the years previously when he got busted, and that would have been all the people and players who would have been involved in 9/11. Just my theory. That's just a theory. A couple other funny memes. We've heard about the Gulf of No Arrests. This is the joke about Trump naming the Gulf of America. Somebody said the Gulf of Still No Arrests, so I made one where it says, oh, here's a Manhattan. You might not be able to read it. It says the Bay of Still No 9/11 Files. Dum-dum. And lastly, this is the $50 I have for the first 3 high school students. If you guys know a high school student that likes physics, David Chandler put this out, 911speakout.org/physics-lab. You can go, you can download this kit. It's a free tracker video software. You don't have to monitor just building 7. Anything that moves, you can plot points on it and it'll tell you how fast it's going. Well, he showed that you can plot points on the corner of building 7 going down, and indeed it does fall at free fall acceleration for about 2.5 seconds. NIST admitted to 2.25, which is exactly free fall acceleration. But if I can get 3 high school students to be able to show this, turn in their tracker software file, I can verify that they did it, I'll give them $50 each. So there's that. And I think that's all. Oh, I have one more, but I'll cover that after I go through the hands. Go ahead, Al. Oh, you're muted, or you're not muted, but we can't hear you. There you are. And you might want to turn off video. Yeah.
We're talking about Christian.
Start over
Can you
again.
hear me now?
It's starting to come in. Go ahead and try.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't know why that does that. So you just
No, it's not working out. I'm sorry. It's
Whitewiser, were you just discussing her? I was out of the room. Anyway, she's debunking Richard H. Are you not hearing me? Oh, Christ. All right. All right. Can't hear me, right?
Yeah, you're jumping around. I heard debunk.
Yeah, somebody's debunking who?
Well, Christian Brightweiser.
Oh.
Was she debunking the nanothermite as the cause of the building 7 coming down? I had watched a video and saying that Gage was a gatekeeper.
Let me try to help.
And I was really surprised to hear that.
Yes. I think I got you, Al. It was Patty.
You with me?
I got it.
No.
You're breaking up. I'll hang out.
I'll take it
I'm
from
going to
here.
piece together what I think he was trying to say. He watched the tap call, and Patty Casaza basically supports the theory that nanothermite, and this is a misconception, There's a lot of discussion that nanothermite was the primary mechanism, the sole mechanism for bringing down the towers. That, as I understand it, is not Richard's opinion. That's not anybody's opinion in the 9/11 Truth Movement that I'm aware of, saying that nanothermite and nanothermite alone brought down the towers. I believe it multiple mechanisms caused it to fall. And fighting about what it is really misses the point that that's causing division and infighting that don't need to be there, especially in a time where we're getting so much attention to this movement. We really need to be focused on the fact that we all agree fire didn't do that. NIST is lying to us, and we need to go after NIST. So I disagree with us spending all this time attacking each other. If you don't agree with a piece of evidence, fine. If other people want to go and do whatever they feel caused it, go for it. I'm not saying don't do it. Like Craig agrees with me. We're not saying don't do it. Just we don't want to spend our time on what we found something to be more tenable. So Patty does not agree with nanothermite, which I think she kind of misunderstands it.
Can't hear you.
Try again now. He's lagging. Give him a second.
Yeah. Where is she coming from? I was surprised. All right, never mind.
She's just very emotionally invested because she lost her husband, and she's hearing things. She's just going down the path that she's seeing right now, and as she gets more information,
it's what's resonating with her.
Yep. Everybody, just don't take what anybody else says. Do your own research and go with your own heart. That's all I could say. So, Roy, thank you, Al. Go ahead, Roy.
Yeah, this is just about Howard Lutnick. You've talked about him several times recently, but you have never said like the central thing. I think he's a perp, and that's largely on the basis of where the thing happened at the tower, at his place. And what you've never said, and I don't know, I would assume you would mention it if you'd been aware of it, and I suppose you aren't, is that he said like a year before 9/11 or something that he'd like to get rid of his traders so he could use computer software and save all the money on the salaries, which was pretty suspicious with what happened afterwards. I don't suppose you've heard about that. I think it came from Whitney Webb. I'm not sure.
I think I did hear that. I can't remember. You're right. I need to dig into that more. I think Patty kind of handled on it too because she's approached Howard several times with the victims' family members, and none of them were impressed by him at all.
I watched her interview twice, and I don't think she mentioned that.
Okay, I'll look into it more. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
And kind of like just something I wanted to say about Patty Casazza also. What was really interesting to me is that she's involved in these lawsuits, right? And they're going after Saudi Arabia. And sometimes we look at things and it's like, why are they doing this and why are they doing that? And she said herself that it's not necessarily about that. It's just that she feels that during this legal pursuit, by pushing against Saudi Arabia, they might feel compelled to produce information that they otherwise wouldn't. So it's not necessarily about getting Saudi Arabia or specifically about it. She just explained, and she's just done so many different things with Congress people and whatnot. So this is just basically a tactic, put their backs up against the wall, and so as to not be incriminated, they might throw other parties under the bus and provide more information. So I just wanted to underline that because it made me go, oh, okay, well, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you. Mike.
Yeah, I just briefly on Patty, her concerns about thermite certainly have merit, but we need to remember it's secondary evidence, and it's the primary evidence that we need to focus on. And that's the point of raising my hand. I want to respond back to Craig's comment about Adam Eisenberg not believing, a plane, jet plane impacted the Pentagon. And I would agree with that, but the evidence is on my screen there. If you look at that explosion, the nice symmetrically shaped pyramid, the nice perfect pyramid, it has vertical inertia, upward inertia, However, the alleged impact came from something traveling 400 miles per hour horizontally. That defies the situation. That vertical explosion is not indicative of an horizontal object.
Nope, you broke up there.
Filled with the jet fuel. I broke up.
Yeah, you're good. You're back.
Just for a second.
Did I break up?
You're good.
Oh, okay. Sorry. The horizontal inertia is not there, and that is very telling. It's the evidence that we need to focus on. Primary evidence is what is not showing the impact hit. It didn't show it at Shanksville, and it doesn't show it at the Pentagon.
All right, thank you.
That is being ignored for a long time.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good, Benjamin.
Hey, thanks. I just wanted to share this because I won't be able to stay for the whole call, so I wanted to put this in the chat, and I also posted this on the 9/11 Truth Movement page. This is a lot different than what I think a lot of us have been working on. It's a really unique approach. It's basically it's looking specifically at the collapse dynamics of the towers, just the collapse dynamics, not the physical evidence or anything, from a philosophy of science perspective. And it's really designed for all those debunkers that we can't even get the time of day from. So it's the main thrust of this is it's using just their own arguments and their own values. And it clearly articulates that they simply haven't demonstrated what they claim and why that should be a problem for them on their own terms. So it doesn't sound like a conspiracy document at all. But it actually is. It's like a baby step for them to realize they haven't actually completed, they haven't demonstrated their side. So it might sort of make them feel comfortable to read because they're like, oh, good, nobody's going to preach at me. This is just, their own arguments. And it seems very verbose, but it's actually pretty focused in terms of what the context is, and it kind of goes through the timeline of what the official accounts were. And as I was reading, I thought it was extremely impressive. And so I might, instead of reading that book from Kevin Ryan, I might read this on a YouTube video or something just to get this out there, because I thought it was really valuable for the Mick Wests and the Metabunk type of people.
Nice. 116 pages, epicycles of inevitability. So thank you. I've been looking forward to that if you do that. I listen to a lot of things on the way to work and from work. So
sweet.
Thank you, Benjamin. Craig?
Yeah, just a quick comment on what Mike said. Definitely, I mean, I know Adam and did calls with him with a small group of people for quite a few months. So I know what his position is, and he definitely does not think that any plane hit the building. And in fact, he was, as you said, he was part of the cleanup crew, and he was there for, if I recall, it was like 3 weeks after that. He never saw a plane part. He never saw any evidence of any plane wreckage inside the building or outside the building. Although there were a few odds and ends, like around, but not any evidence of a plane. So that was, and the thing about the explosion, I mean, this is not an area I'm an expert in, and so I'm very interested in that, and I agree. It looks like it's just going straight up as opposed to having any momentum. But and that plane the government claims was 530 miles per hour, which is even more. And the final thing I would say is, in terms of using that video, I would just remind everybody that Xander Arena did an analysis of that video and has proven, and I have not seen anybody claim that they can disprove it, that the image in that video is simply not big enough to be a 757, even if it's a real object, which I highly doubt. I think it's a completely fake video, but even if it's a real video, it's not a 757, and that means it's not Flight 77, and it means it's fake. It's a fake scene. So just want to throw that in.
Thank you, Mike. The other Mike?
Craig.
Or Craig. Sorry. Brain farting. Thank you. Go to Mike Cook.
My turn?
Yep.
Am I muted?
You're not
good.
muted. You're good.
Okay. I just wanted to remark that there was a Pentagon employee who came out and said she smelled cordite. I believe it was
April Gallup.
April Gallup. There's her, and there were others who said they smelled cordite. I don't know. The sense of smell is pretty cool. I love it in my dogs. They smell so good, much better than I do.
Thank you, Mike.
But yeah, you're welcome.
Good. Richard.
Susie was next.
Oh, Susie. Hey there.
Gonna have to unmute though.
Well, she's getting there. Let me try to help. I'm going to try to help you. There we. Oh, you got it.
There we go. Hi, how is everyone?
Hi.
I just to segue off of what Benjamin was saying about that, I want to really read about the epicycles of inevitability. Jean, I think it was about a month ago, I expressed to you on Facebook that I don't know. Someone said, what keeps you up at night? And what keeps me up at night, I think, is we've spent so much time, and I know I've spent a good 10 years, trying to debunk the official story and, that there really is no truth in that. But I'm grappling and I get stymied a lot of times in my conversations with, well, how was it done then? And I just really feel that we haven't really spent a lot of time on the plausibility of those demolitions. And I concur with Richard about there not being, just nanothermite involved, although that's really the only evidence that we do have. But I'm on a mission now, to find out if there's a way that we can conduct some kind of study. And I think I brought this up before with regards to engineers, demolition experts, people that are out there that we could come in contact with. We have all these experts that are willing to follow the story. And then we have some experts here that want to debunk the official story. But it all comes down to, how was it done? How was it done? I really feel that's a missing link that we have that could really strengthen the movement. So I'm just putting it out there to people if they have some suggestions. I've been doing a lot of patent research on the technology and the nanotechnology and what the DoD has out there. It's kind of hard to retract it back to 2001. But with regards to, my father focusing, spending some time with an attorney and talking about the plausibility and the locations and the timing and all of that involved with, what charges could be placed. And I know we come up empty-handed in this, and it just really kind of irks me. So I don't know. Is there anyone that's really interested in trying to create a study or create a model or gather enough information that we can talk about the plausibility of how? And I know we're trying to get into who did it, but how they did it.
I have a couple comments before I go to Richard. I'm sure he'll have comments too. I asked Richard a couple years ago, I said, hey, what's the chances of getting hold of a controlled demolition company and saying if they were going to do it, how would they do it? And pointed out to me, good luck with that, because most of these companies have contracts with the government and they don't want to jeopardize their contracts with government in the future. So they're not going to go down those rabbit holes. Also, we have Leroy Halsey's model from the University of Alaska Fairbanks showing that it couldn't happen from fire. And he now has explicitly come out and some video that I can't find right now, and I'll get him to restate it on video, where he says, I'm now saying it's a controlled demolition. Also, if we could get the building models and data from Building 7 from NIST, it would conclusively show that fire could not do it. Like they finagled their models. But again, getting NIST to release those models is damn near impossible. And I know Jerry's hugely desiring building models of 1 and 2, where we could also then show it's impossible for fire to cause those buildings to collapse the way they did. So I think we could do it from a process of deduction. It's at least one avenue. Those are my thoughts on it. Richard, we'll come to you.
Yeah, just a quick thought regarding the Mike's logic. Back to the Pentagon first. Can you put Mike's picture up? Some can't see it because.
Let me spotlight him.
Or yeah, spotlight Mike.
Spotlight you.
I have a logical flaw for you, Mike. What we're seeing is looks like an upward only rise. And at first I agreed with you. Yeah, where's the horizontal flow of the 500 plus mile per hour explosion results and jet fuel, if that's what this is. And it occurred to me that there's about 4 or 5 concrete slabs above the point of alleged impact that would keep us from seeing any horizontal projection of that fireball. There could be a horizontal projection of that fireball all the way through the Pentagon to the, I forget which ring, through that first ring. So, and you wouldn't see it. So this may be just the part that, kind of escaped out the opening. That's what I wanted to say there. And then with Susie, I had a comment regarding how it was done. We certainly have Tom Sullivan, explosives loader, for 3 years, working for Controlled Demolition Inc., the premier explosives company, explosive demolition company. And he is featured on the documentary that Susie helped write, and that was 9/11 Explosive Evidence Experts Speak Out. He was also featured recently in 9/11 Crime Scene to Courtroom. In addition, we do have a relationship that's budding very nicely with an explosives company executive. So that's to be more on that soon. So hopefully that will bear fruit. That's all.
Well, if I could, Richard, respond to that. Behind a jet plane, a jet airliner, is an enormous amount of wind created by the jet itself. And you would also see a fluttering. There would be this wind coming in behind the jet and causing that explosion to flutter. And we don't see that. We see a nice, clean, perfect shape pyramid going vertical. So it just doesn't jive with, what should happen. So, but the wind behind a jetliner is commonly known. It's a huge threat to anyone behind it. And it's an enormous power, and you don't see any effect in that explosion by the fluttering. So I yield. Thank you.
Good point. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, guys. Let's go to Magnus.
Oh yeah, thank you. Great work. I love the work that you are doing, and I can't believe it has taken so long to get something done. It's very crazy country. Gene, are we able to share a few videos, please?
Yeah, because I promised you I would. How about we do this? Because I had a video I wanted to share first. Can I come back?
Just do whatever you can.
Okay, we'll come back to you. Let me go to Jerry. I want to show a video, and then we'll go to you. Go ahead, Jerry.
Yeah, I hope I'm coming through.
Yes, sir.
One of the things we did is we had a couple of guys from a controlled demolition company over here when we initially got the SAP 2000 video models for the towers. So we've got a full height model and a full floor model. And one of the observations was, and they have never brought down a high-rise steel frame tube building, these guys. It's not what they do. But they can imagine how it would be done. And there is only really one way to bring these buildings down in a controlled demolition, and it's to use the Corps to do it. And the Corps would go first. And the most interesting observation that we got was, if you were going to wire the towers, if you were going to rig them to come down, you would rig them to come down in a standard way. In other words, you wouldn't say, okay, we'll account for the damage that's going to be impacted to the building. So if you wire these buildings up to come down in the conventional way that you would bring down a high-rise steel frame tube building, the damage then makes a difference in the observation and how the building moves. And that's the key to understanding how to prove that the towers were a controlled demolition. In other words, if the planes had never impacted the buildings, the antenna wouldn't move away from the damage. It would move toward it. It would move down symmetrically. The fact that the antenna moves away from the damaged side tells you that it's been done. I can't remember what commentator it was on the day. You said you've got to get to the under infrastructure of a building in order to do this. He was correct. I don't think it was Peter Jennings.
Yep.
Was it Jennings?
Yes.
But he was correct in saying that. You've got to get to the under infrastructure of a building to make this happen. So in applying the conventional way to bring down a high-rise steel frame tube building, if you apply that to the towers and then account for the damage makes a difference in what you would observe. And I think that's the way. And Susie, just to let you know, we have 2 SAP 2000 models for the towers. And one of them is a full height model and one is a full floor model. So it's not beyond the realms that this could be done. And I actually think we've missed an opportunity to have a model of the North Tower coming down, because it could have been presented in evidence in the Campbell case in the UK. In other words, we could have went in there and had a finite element analysis study on the North Tower done and submitted that in the UK in the Campbell case as evidence, and there wouldn't have been anything that the other side could have put there. So I think we've missed that opportunity as far as the Campbell case goes, but we would be stupid not to learn that lesson, that kind of opportunity may present itself again in the future. But it would take a lot of money, for sure, but we're more than halfway there in the models that we do have.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
There we go. All right. I was trying to find the Peter Jennings thing. I couldn't find it in time. I was pretty close, but anyway, let me share a video on I misclassified. I referenced Chris Martin said a few times on this red, yellow, and green columns of things I'd like to talk about and things I don't want to talk about. It wasn't so much topic related as it was evidence related. And I'm going to let Chris just say it in his own words because he says it so well. He's discussing, he did an excellent research on the Trump assassination attempt. He's on Dark Horse here with Brett Weinstein, and he's discussing how he goes through looking at evidence. So mind you, he's talking about the Trump assassination attempt evidence, but he still talks about this classification, and I really like how he does it. So here we go.
I only work with hard data. And there are other forms of data. Eyewitness data, I classify green, yellow, red, right? And they can be various shades. It's a spectrum, but green data is hard data. And we might not like it, or it might be difficult to wrestle with, but it's hard data, right? So good chain of custody video and sound is good for me, right? Somebody's camera was in the FBI's hands for a week, goes kind of yellow for me, right? But a good green thing is somebody just uploaded and put their thing right up there, and we have it. And now it starts to triangulate and coordinate with, it doesn't disagree with the other video and sound evidence that we have. So you start to build this library of what I call green data. Yellow, gonna have to chase this down. We don't exactly know what to make of this, right? And so we've got a whole pile of yellow data. It's not bad, but it's not solid yet. And then there's red stuff, right? And by the way, eyewitness testimony is red. People hear things and see, like I had people throwing stuff at me for weeks. There was somebody on the water tower. I have 3 witnesses all said that. I'm like, look, if you've ever been hunting, you go out in the woods and somebody shoots from more than 100 yards away, all you can say is it came from over there. So, it's like a whole quarter of a compass. There's not a chance in the world somebody heard it from the water tower. They might have heard something and looked over and seen a water tower. I believe that. But that was red data for me. But oh my goodness, I had so many people. And by the way, I'm going to use air quotes. People, there's been some professional water muddying going on, but that's a different story for maybe later. So I just want people to know that's what I do. All I'm trying to do is just organize around the green data, because I think that's where you start. And then when time permits and later you can get into the fussier parts in the yellow, and maybe there's stuff in the red you can drag out later and really buff it up. But for now, there's only 2 functions I think I've been fulfilling in this. One, official recorder of events as they happen, because somebody has to, because I learned from COVID, this stuff goes away very quickly.
Yep.
And it's hard to remember, and Google memory holes it, and things change. And I know I read something, but it doesn't seem like the same article when I go back. So I just capture everything now, and that's a whole full-time job. And the second thing is to get the data out there in an organized form so that they have to fit their narrative to this, because first mover advantage.
All right.
I only work with hard data.
And I also want to share real quick, we did have a private conversation with Chris Martenson. This was back in October. And this was his takeaway. We had a meeting about Building 7, and this is what his final thoughts after we had this big, long conversation. Any final words from you, sir?
Yeah, no, I'm really inspired. Thank you. I mean, these are all my heroes here. I've really been following this very, very closely for a long time. And it's bothered me greatly because it was the main mythology narrative that pushed my country into the Patriot Act and bombing and killing people and all this crazy stuff, right? And it's a fiction, obviously. And I'm personally offended as a scientist that they wanted to ask me to violate the laws of physics just this one time, right? I don't do that. It's a big problem for me. And because as soon as you don't have common understand, like when you can't share this idea that type 1 office buildings don't fall down because of fires, because we figured that out a long time ago. Like suddenly we have to believe they do. It's crazy making. And so I think that this topic though is the core. This is the biggest tragic insult that happened to my country. Wounded us psychologically, geopolitically, economically, all across all sorts of dimensions. And frankly though, it's just effing stupid as they presented it, right? And they should have at least had the decency, I think, to give us a credible story. And they didn't. They don't even care. That's how much they hold us in contempt, right? So that's sort of my animating energy under this.
And I'm going to just cut it there. I wish I could make that public. I still didn't get Chris's permission to make it public yet. I'll keep reaching out to him. It was a really good conversation, really smart guy, but I agree with him. You can't ask us to suspend physics for that day. Those buildings cannot, fire resistive, steel framed high rises cannot fall down that way by fire. And we should all agree on that. But
and it makes me chuckle, and I kind of agree with him. The very least, it could have given us a credible story, one that added up, not insult us with things that don't make sense. But
just one time, Gene. Just one time.
Just this time. 3 times on one day. Okay. Craig, we'll go to you, and then I'll go back to Magnus's for his videos. I got queued up.
Yeah, I wanted to comment on the Chris Martenson thing, which we mentioned when we spoke on the phone too. I'm a big fan of his, and I did a couple of 2 or 3 videos with Adam Ruff looking at all the evidence that he presented on the Trump assassination. So I thought it was quite powerful and valuable. Absolutely. Now, I want to just comment about the issue of eyewitness testimony, because he says it's red and I totally understand. If you're saying if you're talking about, I heard a guy that said this, well, obviously that's the least credible type of evidence you can have. And I would give you an example that I gave you on the phone, which is the very first person in the Ken Jenkins Pentagon plane puzzle video was some woman named Janet who called into a TV station, and she didn't even actually see an impact at the Pentagon. She said the plane went out of sight and then there was a big explosion. That is not a quality witness. Somebody that, first of all, didn't actually see it, but you can't even check. There's no follow-up questions. You don't know her last name. That's like the lowest level of witness you can get. But I would contrast that with the ones that the citizen investigation team interviews that were done about the Pentagon on camera with numerous follow-up questions on the site where they actually were that day. And those are extremely high quality accounts because those people didn't even realize that they were even contradicting the official story. So so there's quite a range of eyewitness, like the quality of witnesses. And I would one last thing I would add is when he mentions about hard data, sometimes.
Real quick, because I want to go on with about the eyewitnesses. He did say that what he was alluding to was early on in an investigation, going with eyewitness accounts, and you do got to go on a case by case. And he did say later on, if you go back, like later on, once you've gone through the green data, you go back into the red and start dredging that out and listening to it, because in reality, I know some of you are probably thinking about this, eyewitness accounts in Manhattan, we had 118 firefighters that said they heard explosion, 156 first responders that heard explosions. Are we just supposed to discount that? No, on a case-by-case basis, you go back and you start verifying to see if it corroborates with each other, and then it builds itself back into the yellow realm. But yes, I agree with you on that wholly. It's a case-by-case basis on eyewitness accounts. Go ahead.
But I would say that, I mean, like I've gotten into the habit, I guess you'd call it a guilty pleasure, I don't know, of watching like police body cam videos on YouTube. It's just kind of fascinating to watch. Mm-hmm. You think, wow, like I had no idea what a typical day was anyway. But the first thing they do is go looking for witnesses. Whatever the situation is, that's the first thing they do. They don't do ballistics investigation. They go to find out who saw what. And then they build from there. It doesn't mean any one person has the perfect account, but they find out what people are saying, and it kind of moves them step by step closer to figuring out what went on. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's important, but obviously it has to be, it has to be rigorously investigated. Every one of them has to be. And I would just, in terms of hard data, sometimes there's an overlap between hard data and eyewitness. And I would give as an example of that, William Lagasse, or Lagasse. I always try to pronounce it the Canadian way. Anyway, William Lagasse, he described looking to the north, seeing the plane go past him, and he actually could not have seen the plane if it had been on the official path because the gas station was in the way. So if he saw the plane go by, then it had to be on the north side, unless unless he was drunk that day or he's lying. But I mean, he seems, as a Pentagon cop, he's pretty credible. So, and plus he didn't realize that he was even contradicting the official flight path. So sometimes some eyewitness accounts can be extremely compelling because there are other elements that back them up.
Yep. And an investigation in clue of if a cop interviews Mr. White and Colonel Mustard about where Professor Plum was, and they get these ideas that it was him, it's different than if they do the forensic evidence and find out that Colonel Mustard's fingerprints are on the candlestick. That's
right.
Stronger.
But they do both.
Yeah,
they do both.
Do both. Yeah. Thank you. All right, let's go to Magnus. I promise you, let's get through a couple videos. You have
under your comment. It's not far.
Queued up
right
for you,
under
brother.
your comment.
So this is the first one you had.
This is forget about this list, Gene. It's under your comment above. This is for Craig.
Oh, that was for Craig. Okay, so this one's 17 seconds. Here we go.
You've seen many of the managed demolitions where they implode a building and they cause it essentially to fall vertically because they cause all of the vertical columns to fail simultaneously. That's exactly what it looked like, and that's what happened.
Yep. If it's falling vertically, there's resistance being removed underneath. I agree with that one. Next clip you have. Let's go with this.
Thank you.
Is eccentric. In the North Tower, it was primarily the core where the collapse began. If you keep your eye on the roof antenna, you will see it started sinking in before the perimeter tube starts sinking in. It substantiates that the core gave in first at the impact floors, not elsewhere, started coming down, and then dragged along the perimeter tube. In September of 2005, after a 3-year investigation, NIST came out with a similar conclusion. But they believe the collapse initiated in the floors.
The floors started to sag, and they started to pull the exterior columns inward. And the inward bowing of the exterior columns became substantial just before collapse. And then the building came down.
Still, both towers lasted long enough to allow thousands of people below the impact areas to evacuate safely.
Well, somebody's fibbing. I think if the tower, the antenna is falling first, that means the core column is dropping first. And I think Jerry would agree with that as well. I think everybody here would, hopefully. Next one you have said start at 2:05. I got 2 to go through, Ellie, before I get to you. Here we go. How far am I playing this one, Magnus?
We have to just listen to 3 seconds here and go to the end.
Okay.
ABC. John, what can you tell us about these reports that there are dangers of another building collapsing?
There are dangers of another building collapsing right there on the street near where the Twin Towers have already collapsed. Those people who have been down there say the smoke is still piling into the
end.
Where at to the end?
Yeah, the end. Thank you.
Like here?
Little. Okay, let's.
Fear of many, many, many people being killed.
Because, of course, these buildings were never designed to be
Uh-oh, my computer's heating up.
evacuated at high speed. What can be done now for the people who are believed still to be inside there?
Well, unfortunately, Americans have had some experience with evacuating or trying to get people out of buildings that have been demolished. Oklahoma City, of course, the federal building there was exploded, and people were pulled out of that for hours and hours, and in some cases days afterwards alive. These buildings behind me have just been demolished.
Well,
I'm waiting for building 7.
And one more I got here. 2:15, you said?
Yeah.
The steel began to soften and melt. The interior
Thank you, that's it.
Began to soften and melt, yes.
Yeah.
By office fires. That's going to offend every firefighter. Should. Need another 1,000 degrees. All right. Thank you, Magnus, very much for your clips.
Thank you for all your work, Gene. Yeah, I love your news and all the work. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Let's go to Ellie.
Magnus, did you try and get in touch with that particular individual that's in the
You know
video?
what? I had to actually upload a new account on that site, and I'm trying tomorrow again. But yeah, thank you for that link. It works.
The Matthias Levy, yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice. All right. Anybody else? Anything to let everybody know about? It's 6:35 anyway, so let's go around the room. It's perfect timing. Ellie, anything for the group since you're there?
I'm good, thank you.
All right. Mike Cook, anything for the group?
Not much. No, everything's going pretty good.
Nice. Sweet Jane, anything for the group?
Thank you, but not tonight.
All righty.
Yeah.
Brian, good. All right. I do appreciate what Brian was on the tap call. He's like, "Would everybody shut up?" I'm paraphrasing. I just want to hear what Patty Casaza has to say. That was great. Stop interrupting her. Thank you for being here, Brian. Chief Joya, Chris, anything for the group? Up your
That mention of the casting call did come out in the department, in the fire department. So I don't know if anybody from my department is going to answer it. But it's out there. It definitely, that's it right there.
Nice. All right. So yeah, let us know if any of your buddies are in it. I would like to check that out. That'd be cool.
Okay, you got it.
Thank you.
Thank,
All right.
thank you.
Mike Zarzano, anything for the group?
Oh, no, just thanks for Christopher mentioning the wake turbulence. That was the terminology I couldn't remember. My senior database failed me. So thank you, Chris.
You're welcome. We're both seniors.
Yes, but hey, everybody, just that want to join us Tuesday night. It should be some very transformative information that Adam is going to release for the very first time. And he's going to do it Tuesday night, 8 p.m., Truth Action Project Tap Talk. You got to register for the Zoom. Go on the events page and please join us. Look forward to it. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Adam who? Adam who?
Eisenberg.
Eisenberg.
Yep.
Yes, Adam Eisenberg. Very interesting, scholarly man.
All right. Thank you.
Let's go.
Hope to see you, Mike.
Anything for the group, Jack? Finding the mic.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, just on the media, and I mentioned this last time. Most of the media is getting upset about what ICE is doing, and I certainly agree with that. But there's also a big emphasis, and there's a new movie coming out of the threat that's facing America from China, Iran, and Russia. And this movie is quite convincing. I've seen little bits of it, but it's scary because it's all lies. For example, they're making a big deal of why we need Greenland to block off Russian subs from coming down into the Atlantic. But I was in the Marines, and there were Russian subs and Russian ships all over the Atlantic. We used to all wave at each other, and there's a law called freedom of navigation that they're allowed to be in the Atlantic. So the whole premise is a lie. But people I've talked to have seen the clips, really believe the story that we have to be terrified of Russian ships coming into the Atlantic. Thanks.
Thank you, Jack. That's two Marines. Chris is a Marine, Marines. Once a Marine, always a Marine. Hoo-ah. Sorry. I'm Navy. Hoo-yah. Jerry, anything for your group?
All good here. All good here. Thanks for the call.
Thank you, Mike.
Recording in progress.
Susie, anything for the group?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Gary for forwarding over those models and those files. I'm interested in taking a look at that. And just, Richard, if I'm able to tap in with you sometime during the week, just to get a little bit more information on the demolition company that you said you're going to be bringing forth soon. Yeah, I'm looking forward to really diving into this. And thanks for everyone.
Thank
Anytime,
you.
Susie.
Good to see you. We'll go to Richard since you brought up Richard.
Yeah, there was a call. I think it was the TAP call, the last one, in which Barbara was on, and she publicly accused me of lying. And I had a discussion with her about that, and she apologized to me, and she's writing a written apology to everybody who, this was the Deep State 9/11 call.
Yeah.
And Craig will be, I understand, issuing that public apology to those who were or are on his list for that Deep State 9/11 call. So I just wanted to let everybody know that there's a lot more context coming along with that, which is an explanation of things, which is worth reading. That's it. And thanks, everybody. Thanks, Gene and Sandra.
Thank you, Richard. Back to Magnus. Anything for the group, Mr. Norway?
Oh, no, just have a great week, and thank you for letting me be in here, and great work, Gene, for all the news, and we're hoping that we are getting forward with all this stuff soon. Gene, the videos today was actually from the last meeting. We didn't have time, so I'm actually going to show the news that I will wanted to show you today next time. We're hanging.
10-4. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. I hope you receive the money, Richard. I'm giving you more money next month. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for supporting us, Magnus.
Thank you, Magnus. Big heart. Carol, anything for the group, ma'am?
Yeah, I have always felt sort of like the bottleneck of an hourglass, especially because I was out on the streets right at the very beginning when 9/11 happened, demanding an investigation of 9/11. And because my name and my email was out there, I got a flood of materials from just all over the country, all over the world. And my husband's technologically gifted, but I'm a bit of a Luddite, and I can't even process, even figure out how to open these files and risk my computer. So I don't even know half the stuff that I got. But I moved recently, and so I'm in the process of I finally unpacked like the last box in the house, and I came across some just amazing witness. This is my expose on what happened on 9/11. I haven't even had time to read them, but I just want to say I'm going to do my due diligence and read some of the stuff that I have been given over the years, and I'll pass on whatever I can find that's good. But I think give me some slack, because I do still organize. I still can only do about 5 or 10% of the things that I want to do in the course of any day. And so to me, anything that distracts me is a waste of time. It's like I've got so many things that I absolutely have to do. If it doesn't look fruitful or engaging, I can't deal with it. So forgive me for my outbursts, but I wanted to give a little background.
I agree, and I think we're all kind of saying the same thing. Each in our own camps, if you will. I don't want to use camps because somebody else just used that word recently for bad. But all of us and what we do, what resonates with us, we want to focus on that. And anything else we don't want to spend time on. You could say it's wasting our time, which would come off harsh to everybody else. So it's better to say, you know, I just want to focus on what I want to focus on, and I don't want to focus on anybody else's stuff. And I think we all get that.
Yeah, we both whine about there not being enough hours in a day to do everything we want.
But again,
It's
St. Augustine's quote in the Essentials, unity, non-essentials, liberty, and everything love. So we'll speak in kindness to each other. I think we all agree fire didn't cause the buildings to fall down. We were lied to. We can agree on those two things. And it was something funny. And going through the 300 posts that went to the spam folder, somebody shared a video with me, and it's funny that the screen capture that it took for the poster image for it. And Carol's gonna hate this, but this is the screen capture for the video. The greatest lie ever told by Anthony Hilder from 2005. As soon as I saw the face, I'm like, well, there's Carol Brule. That's funny. So
I'm really curious about what you're going to find in those you might just you're probably going to find a lot of garbage, you know.
I'm trying to be open and sharing. I don't want to seem like the gatekeeper, so there's a lot of stuff up there.
I was talking about her
Oh,
boxes.
sorry. Okay.
Boxes of stuff that she's going to go through, because there might be some really golden nuggets in there too. So yeah, I'm curious.
Yep. All right. Thank you. I got hands
We
up.
love you. We love you, Carol. Thank you for all your hard work.
Yep. Eric, anything for the group, sir?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I was just thinking of the timing of 9/11 being at the very beginning of Bush's term. And I was thinking what Sandra said, it would have been nice for them to give us a good story. But, you know, being that they had 3 years to have everybody afraid to really even say anything different and really kind of bully whatever there were some voices at the very beginning, and obviously those got silenced quickly. So it's kind of like a science. I'm sure they look at it as a science now. If you just keep people quiet for like 3 years, then everybody's embarrassed, or it's just so set in stone to come back and say anything.
Yep. Good point.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Thank you. Craig, anything for the group?
Well, I can't resist a little bit of a comment on the last. I mean, I'm afraid I can't quite agree with your sort of neat little wrap up of how we're all on the we all want to get to the truth and we all want to just do what we want to do. I think my objection to what was said is a little more profound than that. I mean, if somebody doesn't want to look at something in 9/11, then they don't have to look at it. Nobody's forcing anybody to look at it. And if if you're too busy to join, a Zoom call like this, well, then, you obviously have to make your own schedule. But I think you're kind of putting a nice bow on it, actually, Gene, but that's fine. You're entitled if you like. But I have when there's credible evidence that goes against the official story, that exposes false things in the official story, it's frustrating when the people that are making it difficult to get that across are people inside the movement themselves. That's unfortunate and not helpful. Instead of dismissing the challenges to that story that I provide and other people do, it would be better for people to, instead of pushing back on that, do your own deep dive into why the official story is false. That's more helpful than trying to negate strong evidence from other truthers, in my opinion.
Yeah. I guess I don't know if it would be possible, a thought experiment. Is there one piece of information that this entire room could agree is a waste of time or disinformation? I heard there was one crazy theory on how, like really, really crazy theory of how the towers came down. I forget what it was. Well, fire. We could say fire. This entire room could agree that fire is disinformation.
Nicely done.
I think so. And if anybody wants to study how fire did it, is a waste of time. If anybody wants to support NIST, I think that's a waste of time. Susan, you got some shows coming up.
Yeah, everybody's expecting Sybil Edmonds Thursday. Unfortunately, she canceled because we had Mark Rossini, and she sees him as disinformation. So now I'm associated with disinformation, apparently.
Now you're a waste of time, I guess. Jeez.
I guess so. But Barbara Honegger has jumped in and
Edmund's been rescheduled.
she will not reschedule.
Wow. That's a shame.
And it's because of Mark. She doesn't like that we had Mark Rossini on.
Well, I mean, I think wasn't that what she told you? The comment that she made that that.
Oh yeah, she vented.
Yeah, she totally vented on him. But what I don't understand is then why doesn't she come on Boston to correct what she thinks he said was wrong?
I suggested that, but she politely responded, no.
Okay, well, there it is.
Well, I'm gonna say it. I never liked her, and this just
don't say that. No,
I don't.
We'll send her an email.
She irks me.
All right. To February. So Barbara will fill in for the February 3rd,
February 5th.
What?
It's Thursday.
Oh, the 5th. I'm sorry. February 5th. February 19th, Kevin Barrett.
Correct.
March 5th, Sandra Hicks.
Correct.
And April 2nd, Andrew Craig.
No, we don't have that confirmed yet.
Oh, not confirmed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Why does she irk you?
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Because, oh my God. Because of the way she comes across of like this know-it-all kind of just
No ad hominem.
this is my
Okay.
perception. She doesn't know me. She doesn't know I exist. It doesn't matter. But I mean,
There will be no fighting in the war room. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm not fighting. On the contrary, it was an interview that she was supposed to have with you. And Gene and I tuned in just to hear her interview with you. And we tuned in, and for 40 minutes, all we heard was her.
Yeah.
And you got in 2 sentences at the end, and that was her interview with you. And that just, and every single time I hear her, she's just looking for the stage and looking to talk. And I mean, she was a translator. Like, what kind of endangered kind of position was that for, to be protected? I probably don't know the whole story, but Whistleblower Act, protection against the trans. And then she falls off the face of the earth for years. And then suddenly she comes back and she's like, we need to all get behind 9/11. We need to do this. It's like, okay, but where the hell were you for the last 7 years?
Well,
But it was
I mean, her.
supporting you. And
I just want to add.
anyways,
Sorry.
so again, nothing personal, but every single time something happens with her, it rubs me the wrong way completely.
All right.
Maybe she's sweet. I don't know.
There's the answer.
Can I just add 2 points there? So she was out of service because her husband had ALS, and she had to take care of him for the last several years.
Don't you
That's
feel
why
bad
she
now?
left.
No.
That's why she left the went out of, dropped all her social media, because she basically was caregiver for her dying husband, who eventually did pass away. And and that's my understanding is why she's returned, is that she's basically resolved all that. But I do agree with your point. She does sometimes act as if you don't agree with everything she says, then you're beneath her, and it's not easy to negotiate with that kind of person.
And just to quickly reply to that, obviously, I mean, totally understood. It's not the fact that she was gone. It's the way she came back. It's the way she came back and the way that she basically, kind of like led this thing of like everybody needs to do this and rah, 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 Well, we've all been doing it, and okay, so I didn't know why she was gone, but I don't know why she was banging the drums so hard as if we were all just like twiddling our thumbs waiting for her to come back. No, we've been doing it. So anyways.
Okay. David.
Thanks, Ed.
David Campbell, anything for the group?
I thought I had nothing until I heard Eric speak on I think it was Eric, on the 3 years phenomenon after 9/11. It made me think of COVID, when we were asked for 15 days to flatten the curve. And that was enough to rock us back on our heels and let them win the 3 years that have changed our lives forever. So being respectful of benefit of doubt, and also being poised to respond quickly, rapid response wise, so that those episodes don't turn history forever and we're on it quicker. I don't know what that looks like, but that's just a quick hit, and hello to everyone else.
Yeah, thank you. Alfred, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you're coming in good. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, just hope that we see everybody this Thursday.
Thank you. Good to
Thank
see you,
you.
Al. Ellie, do you have anything else?
No, I'm good.
Thank you. Thank you. Deb Lee in New York, anything for the group?
No, I'm just listening tonight. Thanks, everybody.
How cold is it in New York?
Well, it's extremely cold, and it's remaining cold. That's the big thing. So we still have snow from last Saturday night and Sunday. And it reminds me of Chicago or Wisconsin or New York or Canada, where winter is winter. Usually we get snow and then it's 40 degrees and it all melts. But people are really kind of freaking out because it's actually winter. But I'm totally in my element. I grew up in the Midwest. So
All right.
Very well said. Winter is winter, and it's not like it's supposed to be.
Yep. And Mike Figa.
Yep, nothing here.
All right. Go back to the hands, Magnus.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say that our crown prince, Mette-Marit, was actually in the Epstein. Actually, she knew Epstein for several years and was told about a young group of Norwegian women. So she's in deep trouble, I think.
Oh boy. For
And
those that
it's
aren't
actually six.
For those that aren't aware, if you want to, they finally figured this out. I can't believe it took so long. If you go to justice.gov/Epstein, there's a search box down there, and it'll let you search for any word or phrase. You get phrases and quotes. And I've searched for Silverstein. I've searched for Ehud Barak. I've searched for 9/11, Building 7. I've searched for everything. If you can think of something, search for it. Again, justice.gov/Epstein, and start searching through the files because there's all kind of goodies in there.
Put it in the chat.
Unit 8200 and Carbine and all kind of ties to Israel. Anyway, all right. Thank you. Sorry to hear that about your princess or whatever that was.
Yeah, it is, and it's actually very cold here, Gene. It's severe. It's a Russia wind, so we are getting 16, and it's very high minus here. It's actually getting colder and colder.
Or hang in there. Thank you. Susie.
Yeah, actually, I just wanted to ask Richard, what is this deep state 9/11 call? Is this something that goes on regularly?
Craig, you want to answer that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, this is like the oldest. This was for many years an audio call, and we just got with the times, eventually, and went to video. But we've been going for about 15 years, and it's probably I think just about everybody of any note in the movement has been there at some point. And it's this last Wednesday of the month, and we'd love to have you attend. Our next one is there it is. That's our Substack, and you can subscribe, and that will give you the agenda every month and the video, and the barber's apology, which will go up later tonight, Richard. It's 911teleconference.substack.com, and if you subscribe, then you'll get the agenda every month. And the next one we're having is, what is it, the 25th. So we hope.
What time zone is that? What time?
It's 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. So what zone are you in?
Mountain 6.
Mountain, so it's 6, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So sure.
Cool.
Glad to have you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Susan, Sandra, anything? Did I get everybody in the room? First of all, I think I got everybody. Yes, Sandra.
Yeah, I just wanted to just quickly say that yesterday we made an attempt to meet up with other Pittsburghers, that are on the 9/11 Truth page, and either very much so or a little bit or whatever. We found 22, some obviously we knew by name, people that were friends or acquaintances. And then we kind of just plowed through the 9/11 Truth movement for anybody who said they lived in Pittsburgh. So we just invited them. We invited 22 people. This was 3 weeks ago. It was freezing cold 3 weeks ago. And we thought surely by January 31st, it's going to be over and it's going to be much warmer and people are going to want to go out. It was freezing cold. We were supposed to meet, I think Gene's sharing it, right in the passageway. It's indoors there, and just figure out where we're going to eat. There's a whole bunch of restaurants in the area. And 6 people ended up confirming that they were coming, and 1 person showed up.
But we tried.
We tried. And I mean, in all fairness, it was just a nasty cold day. One of them is a good friend of Gene's who works on Saturdays and he just wanted to go home. And the other one, her car died and whatever. There were reasons. But just it takes a lot to organize, Carol. I don't know how you drag in so many people every time. We need to be consistent, I think, more, and it'll be easier when it gets warmer. We can have people over here too. But you got to do it. And she was more interested in the Butler attempt, shooting attempt, because, we were all there. But still, we met someone new, and maybe next time she'll bring some friends, and maybe we can build from there. So
Yep.
I'd like to do that with my new home of Ottawa, which you know I don't know. I know very few people here, so it might be a good way to kind of connect with some like-minded people. So maybe I'll try and organize something.
I love Richard's idea of a potluck. That's a great idea.
That's eventually what I'd want it to be anyway. Craig, I think it should work for, I mean, it should work for everyone. I don't think it just works for us because we're admins, but anyways, try it. But because the 9/11 Truth Movement page has 43,000 members, if you do a search for Ottawa, it'll give you every profile, or at least it gives it to us. Like we can help you with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, maybe it'll say, studied at Ottawa, whatever university, and it's not relevant because they moved, but it's worth a shot. You know, you can reach out and say, hey, common interest, we'd like to do something.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a whole bunch of restaurants and lots of bars within a 2-block radius of where I'm living. So I can just schedule something down the block, and
that would be great.
It could be fun.
One last. Well, let me go to Susan, then I saw Carol. Go ahead, Sue.
Yeah, I just wanted to finish because I got cut off when Roy rejoined.
Yes.
So Barbara Honegger is going to be our guest on Thursday, and her topic will be if the DC 9/11 Pentagon discussion, in quotes, discussion, had been a real debate.
Oh boy. Okay.
Oh, awesome.
Thank you, Sue. Go to Carol.
Oh, I've noticed with Facebook that I can only send out a limited number of invitations.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I have also noticed that many of my deceased friends still have accounts. So, and sadly, I mean, there's more and more people who have been passing away. We lost a great activist recently. He wasn't quite speaking out on 9/11 Truth, but it was Michael Parenti, who's done some really great work, and we're sorry that he's gone. But
very sorry he's gone.
He didn't come out speaking loudly about 9/11 Truth, but I know he did come to some of our events, and he was a great author, speaker.
Yes, he was.
An awesome man who moved me very much.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Have a good evening and a great week, and let's talk next time.
Have a good week.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.